We're planting garlic today. So come and join us and learn how it's done, or at least how we do it. Hi all, this is Correne from Spirea Herbs and Snail Trails Homestead, and today my family and I are planting our garlic crop for next year. This is the perfect time of year to do it. We've experienced, I'd say, 1 or 2 hard frosts. We're in a zone 5 bordering on zone 4B here in southern Ontario. We're in an area known as Kawartha Lakes, so not quite as far south as the lake. And we find that a type of garlic called hardneck does really well for us in our climate. Hardneck varieties tend to handle really cold winters better than a soft neck variety. So if you've ever seen those beautiful garlic braids sold at some farmers markets, or you see them on TV or something like that, those are a soft neck variety. The hardneck varieties will actually produce a flowering stalk somewhere around late June, early July, and that's known as a garlic scape. So that's one of the nice benefits of planting a hardneck variety of garlic, is that you get this bonus crop of garlic scapes. So we're going to talk a little bit about the cloves. So here are a couple of, we like growing the variety Music, and you'll see there's a big difference between these two. I'm not going to want to plant this one because the papery coat actually helps to protect the garlic clove, which is in essence our seed. And so if you have any cloves that are exposed like this, it just leaves them susceptible to disease, rot, and critters nibbling on them. So you really want to have ones like this one where the paper is really nice and intact. When you're planting your garlic, you are planting a single clove. Each clove is going to yield a bulb. And when you're planting it, this end here, the flat end, and like I've already been digging in the garden, so don't mind my hands, the flat end here is where the roots are going to come out. So this is the part that you're going to want to plant down, and the actual flowering stalk will come. If you've ever had garlic sprout on you before, have you seen that little green stalk that comes up? That's the part that you want pointing up. And so in the next clip, I'll show you exactly how to plant it. All right, so garlic likes full sun. So wherever you plant it, you're really gonna need a good 7 to 8 hours of full sun exposure in the summer. So make sure you're not planting it somewhere really shady. Save those spots for your kale and your greens and that kind of stuff. And we've decided we're creating something on our homestead called fruit tree guilds. And I can talk just really quick about that. So my husband's gonna show you, this is one of our fruit trees here, an apple tree. Around the base of the... buddy, I'm filming. My goodness, this is what you watch, right? For the family bloopers. Around the base of the fruit trees, we've actually planted daffodil bulbs. And daffodils help to deter most animals from nibbling at the bases of your trees, taking off the bark. They're not going to take your bulbs, which is also really nice, and they're going to deter them from eating off any of the young precious leaves, because daffodils are poisonous to most animals. And actually, when we bought our daffodil bulbs, there's actually a little deer, a picture of a deer with a big cross through it, being like, you know, it'll kill the deer if they eat it. And most animals are pretty savvy, so they know that, and they're going to stay away. So we've got our daffodil bulbs here, and then an additional level of deterrent, and also the idea of companion planting. We're going to do our garlic bulbs.
Isn't too heavy.
We're going to do our garlic bulbs around the perimeter. So you're going to want to plant your garlic, as I said in the previous segment, okay, you want it the root side down, the flat side down. You're going to plant them about 4 inches deep or so, and about 6 inches apart. So giving your garlic lots of space. It doesn't like a lot of competition, so make sure the area is fairly weed free. And remember, each one of these cloves is going to produce a bulb. So they need that space to grow. So you're going to want nice loamy soil, nothing too clay or compact. It's just not going to, you're not going to produce really big yields that way. And so all I'm going to do is kind of nestle my clove into the ground, and then I usually dig out a little with my hands. Right? Plant, and then you're going to cover with soil, and that's it. We have just planted garlic. It really is that simple. And then we'll cover with mulch, and nature really does the rest of the work. I've done some reading, and folks, you can tell me if this is true or not. I've done some reading that for hardneck varieties, it's actually the exposure to our harsh cold winters that it almost stresses the clove out and causes it to split into bulbs or into separate cloves, which is what gives you that bulb. Not sure how true that is. You can comment below if I'm full of baloney, or if there is some truth to that. I've read it in a couple places now. So we'll get all of our garlic planted, we'll mulch it, and then, like I said, nature does the rest of the work. And we'll have scapes by about, I'd say mid-July, and then we'll be harvesting our garlic by the end of September.
I'm going on to the playground after this.
Little man is hauling some firewood for us, and apparently it's hard work. So thank you so much for watching, and if you've got any questions, please leave them below. I'll film another segment after this just showing you how we cover everything up with mulch. So we've planted our garlic around the perimeter of the fruit trees. We got about a dozen cloves around each tree, which is awesome. And now we're going to give them a nice good layer of straw mulch. And you can use, if you've got a lot of leaves and you want to use like mulched leaves, if you want to use wood chips, whatever you have. We like using straw. Just make sure you're not using hay, because hay will have a lot of seeds in it, and then it's going to sprout. And you're going to have a lot of stuff that looks kind of like grass coming up in and amongst your garlic. So we'll give them kind of like a nice thick bed to protect and insulate them over the winter. And we haven't even found that we had to move them aside when the plants come in. One sec, bud. And they just pop right up through the straw, and it helps to keep the weeds down as well. Garlic's not a big fan of a lot of competition, so you really want to make sure that your soil and your beds are fairly weed free when you're planting them. They like their space to grow. So like I said, we like to use straw, but you can use whatever mulch that you've got on hand. All right, so we're around back now planting the rest of our garlic. One of the questions I get a lot is, how much should I plant? So you got to think about how much you use in a year. Are you a one bulb a month kind of family, or are you more like a one bulb a week kind of family? We tend to use a lot of garlic. So you want to look at your needs. You want to think, hopefully, if you have enough space on your property, that you're also growing some for seed. So the great rule of thumb is 1/3 of your crop is going to be for eating, preserving, your canning and cooking. 1/3 of your crop is going to be saved for seed for next year, and the next third can be dehydrated and dried into garlic powder. But a lot of this, Malfoy, stay out of the bed, bud. A lot of this is going to be determinant on how much space you have. You may not want to have the vast majority of your garden get dedicated to garlic, because I'm planting this now, it's October, and this is going to be in the ground until August. So it's going to use up garden space for most of the year. One sec, bud. My goodness. It's like he knows. So this is going to take up garden space in your garden for most of the year. So you might not want to dedicate that much space to growing garlic. Yeah, so we're just going to finish up here. If you've got any questions, you can put them below. You can follow me here on YouTube. That'd be amazing. Like this video and share. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. The links are all below. And I'll even put a link to where we buy our seed garlic from, because we're not actually we're going to get about 172 cloves into the ground, which isn't quite enough for our family to be able to save for seed. So we keep having to buy garlic seed every year. So I'll put the link to the company below. Hopefully once we get some fruit trees, we can expand. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.